In this lecture of Java series, today we will discuss about the constructor. So for the today, our topic will be constructor in Java. So basically इससे पहले आप लोगों ने मेथड के बारे में पढ़ा है और मेथड के बारे में कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट मैंने आप लोगों को बताए। आई थिंक वो सारे कॉन्सेप्ट आप लोगों को क्लियर हो गए होंगे। मेथड के बाद अगला जो एलिमेंट्स आता है विद इन ए क्लास वो है हमारा कंस्ट्रक्टर। हमने क्लास के अंदर जब पहले वीडियो में हमने आप लोगों को बताया कि इनसाइड द क्लास वी हैव 5 एलिमेंट्स, वेरिएबल, मेथड, कंस्ट्रक्टर, देन इंस्टेंस एरिया एंड स्टैटिक एरिया. So Java is a class level language and every class have a 5 elements. Today we will see third element, that one is a constructor. So first thing, what is the constructor? Normally in any language we can say that constructor is a block of code similar to method. Constructor is a block of code just similar like as a method. Just similar like as a method. And constructor is called when an instance of class will be created. This one is the second point related to the constructor. First one, constructor is a block of code just similar like as a method. Second one, constructor is called when an instance of the class will be created. Now, what are the ways to create a constructor? How we create a constructor? What are the rules and regulations to define a constructor? तो ये सारी चीजें हम वन बाय वन पढ़ते चलेंगे. Like as a first thing, there are various way to create a object. To create a object, either we can say that in a method or in constructor. जैसे कि मेथड में भी हमने देखा कि when we create an object then method will be execute. अगर हम इंस्टांस मेथड को इंस्टांस एरिया के अंदर या इंस्टांस मेथड को स्टैटिक मेथड के अंदर कॉल करना है यानी स्टैटिक एरिया के अंदर कॉल करना है, देन वी नीड अ ऑब्जेक्ट. और उस समय हम ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करते थे. सो हमने एक तरीका देखा ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करने का. ना हम देखते हैं देयर आर वेरियस वे लाइक एज अ टोटल 7 वे टू क्रिएट एन ऑब्जेक्ट. फर्स्ट वन इज by using new keyword. जो कि हम लोगों ने किया था अभी या इससे पहले जब मेथड के टॉपिक हमने पढ़ा था तो उसके अंदर जो भी ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट किया था वहां पे हम न्यू कीवर्ड के थ्रू ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट कर रहे थे. सेकंड वन इज बाय यूजिंग इंस्टांस फैक्ट्री मेथड. Third one, by using static factory method. Fourth one, by using pattern factory method. Fifth one is by using new instance method. Next one is by using clone method. By using clone method. And last one is by using deserializations process. By using deserializations process. So these are the 7 ways by which we create an object. So ये सारे प्रोसेस हम आगे जैसे जैसे एग्जांपल करते चलेंगे, एक एक मेथड को उठाएंगे और उस मेथड का यूज करके हम ऑब्जेक्ट को क्रिएट करते चलेंगे। तो लाइक एज जैसे अगर पहले वाले की बात करूं बाय यूजिंग न्यू कीवर्ड, तो इस मेथड से आप लोग पहले से परिचित हैं कि हाउ वी कैन क्रिएट एन ऑब्जेक्ट बाय यूजिंग न्यू कीवर्ड। सो सिंपल, we take class name, like as if our program start with the class test, then the class name, that is a test, then we take object name is equal to assignment operator new keyword, then constructor name, and we also noted that constructor name should always be same as the class name. Constructor name always same with the class name. Then termination point means semicolon. So here test is our class name. Class name. T is object name, or we can say that reference variable. Reference variable. Again we take assignment operator, so this one is assignment operator. Then new is a keyword, and this keyword is used to create the object. Then we take constructor name. This one is the constructor. Then we take a constructor name. So test is our constructor. And during object creation, constructor will be executed. During object creation, constructor will be executed. So these are the some basic points related with the constructor. Now there are some rules associated with the declaring a constructor. So what are the rules? Rules to declare constructor. First one rule is class name and constructor name must be same. Class name and constructor name must be same. Second one, constructor is able to take parameter. Constructor is able to take parameter. And third point is constructor not allowed any return type. Just like method allow return type, but constructor does not allow any return type. So constructor does not allow any return type. And last one is constructor cannot be abstract, static, final, or synchronized. Constructor cannot be abstract, static, final, and synchronized. So these are the some rules which should be mind up when we declaring any constructor. First one, class name and constructor name both must be same. Second one is the constructor is able to take parameter. Third one, constructor does not allow any return type. And last one is a constructor cannot be abstract, static, final, and synchronized. Now, now we will see the type of constructor. Next, we will see the type of constructor. Types of constructor. Basically, there are two types of constructor. There are two types of constructor. First one is a default constructor. That one also known as a zero argument constructor, and this one is provided by compiler. Zero argument constructor provided by compiler. And second one is a user defined constructor. User defined constructor, and this one is also either will be zero argument or parameterized. Or parameterized constructor. As name suggests, user defined, so programmer should be defined or programmer will be defined this type of constructor at the time of programming. When we are making any program and just we need any set of code where we want to define or declare a constructor, then a programmer should introduce these types of constructor known as a user defined constructor. Now, why we are using constructor? What are the advantages if we are using the constructor? So, first main advantage is First one is constructor are used to write business logic. Constructor are used to write business logic, or simply we can say that logic, and those logics are executed during object creation. Those logics are executed during object creation. This is the first advantage of using constructor. And the second one is constructor are used to initialize instance variable during object creation. During object creation. So these are the two main advantages of using constructor. First one, constructor are used to write business logic or only logic. Those logics are executed during object creation. And the second one, constructor are used to initialize instance variable during object creation. Now, we take first types of constructor. That one is a default constructor. So simply first we see what is the default constructor. Suppose we are making a program like as a class name. This one is a test class name. And we want to simply to execute this, we take main method. So our main method is a public static void main, then we provide argument. So argument, and which type is string type argument always, so we take array. And inside the main method simply we want to print system dot out dot print, and this should be print hello, how are you. When we compile this program or when we execute this program, then compiler will generate a default constructor. Compiler will generate a default constructor. When we compile, when we save this program, and after saving we compile this program, now this program look like something other type, like as a class, then class name, or this one is our class body. Inside that class, compiler will generate automatically a default constructor. Compiler will generate a default constructor, and the name of the default constructor is same as the class name. And we already know that the default constructor, which one is provided by the compiler at the compile time, is a zero argument. Means inside that we are not, our compiler will not assign any value, because these are the zero argument constructor. And one property that we have already studied, that there is no return type of constructor. Constructor does not return any types. So this one is the simple constructor. Now constructor body. This one, this whole scenario will be known as a default constructor and will provided by the compiler. Again, Now same thing, like as a public static void main string argument, or here we write arg, so simply write arg. Then this one is our main method body, and inside the main method body we want to print system.out.print hello, how are you. Now both example are same. Both example are same. First one is before the compilation and second one is after the compilation. This one before the compilation. Before the compilation our source code, and second one is after the compilation. So after the compilation, there is another things will be included by compiler. That one is the default constructor. This one is the default constructor, and this one is provided by compiler. So one point should be clearly noted that every Java program should have at least one constructor, and that one is the default constructor provided by Java compiler. Every Java program should have, must have at least one constructor. That one is a default constructor, and this default constructor will be provided by Java compiler, that is a Java C. Now we will take another example. Like as a class, then class name. Inside that class we take instance variable like as int x and int y. We take a user defined constructor, so constructor always should be same as the class name. This one is the user defined constructor, and we want to provide arguments. So like as we provide two arguments a and b, and both are the integer type. So we provide two arguments, int a and int b. This one is the constructor body, and inside this we replace or simply we print the value system.out.print ln, and inside this we print the value of a, and the same process we want to print the value of b. Now to execute constructor we need a method, main method. So public static void main string argument array type. This one is the main method body. Now, how we will execute these constructor? How we will execute these constructor? So, very first topic of this video, there are 7 ways to create object. So, to execute a constructor or to execute a method, we need object. So, firstly, we create object inside the main method. And how we will create object? Then class name, reference variable or object name, assignment operator, new keyword, then constructor name. Because here these are the parameterized constructor and we are taking two parameter a and b and both are the integer type. So here we need to pass two values and both are the integer data type 10 and 100 and 200. Now, when we execute this program, now the output of this program will be 100 and 200. 100 and 200. This one is known as the instance variable. This one also instance variable. And here A and B known as the local variable. Local variable. So, to execute a constructor, we also need a object creation, because constructor will be executed when object is created. Just like as a method को execute करने के लिए आपको object create करना पड़ता था, and the same method अगर आपको constructor create करना है तो भी object create करना constructor execute करना है तो भी object को create करना पड़ेगा. Without creating an object, we cannot execute our constructor. So this is the way how we call constructor. Now, in next lecture, we will see this keyword related to the constructor. हमने this keyword method में भी देखा था. Now, in next video of constructor, we will see the new keyword with respect of constructor. So these are the whole lecture for the today's session. Here we see what is the constructor, how we will create object, what are the different way to create object, what is the special meaning of object creation. This one is the testative is equal to new test. Now what is the rules to declare a constructor, type of constructor कितने तरीके के होते हैं, दो तरीके के, डिफॉल्ट और यूजर डिफाइंड. डिफॉल्ट कंपाइलर देता है और यूजर डिफाइंड प्रोग्रामर देता है. एंड उसके बाद हमने देखा था कि एडवांटेज क्या है. सो दो एडवांटेज देखा. देन हमने देखा कि अगर कोई भी प्रोग्राम हम बना रहे हैं जिसमें हमने कंस्ट्रक्टर यूज नहीं किया है तो उस प्रोग्राम को अगर हम कंपाइल करते हैं तो कंपाइलर विल ऑटोमेटिकली जनरेट और ऑटोमेटिकली विल क्रिएट अ कंस्ट्रक्टर, एंड दिस वन इज द जीरो आर्गुमेंट कंस्ट्रक्टर एंड बाय डिफॉल्ट कंस्ट्रक्टर. And this constructor, this one is the zero argument and by default constructor provided by the compiler. And in next example, here we see how we execute a constructor. जो constructor हमने create किया है, means जो user defined constructor है, this one, how we will execute this constructor. So to execute this constructor or to execute the constructor यूजर डिफाइंड कंस्ट्रक्टर, जो हमारा मेथड जो हमारा तरीका मेथड के केस में होता था कि किस तरीके से हम यूजर डिफाइंड मेथड को एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं, सेम तरीका हमारा यहाँ पे भी यूज होगा।